Now, you mentioned you had some stumbles with Outbound yourself or LinkedIn in the early days. Tell me about those.
Yeah, those are really interesting. And so in the early days, I was doing that outbound, and then we said, you know what, let's go try to go do this ourselves. And we made two big mistakes, or two big phases of mistakes, and then we got it on the third try. So the first mistake was, in this, I actually believe in the model, but we just executed it wrong. We outsourced outbound, and we outsourced it to basically a side hustle of our marketing team.
Hmm.
And we didn't really pay attention to it that much. We did the firm was actually pretty good. We had used them at Box. I came previously from Box, and it worked there, but
Mhm.
just did not work for us at all. It was like we had a 0% conversion rate by using them for about 6 to 8 months on the actual pipeline. Lots of pipeline, but what we messed up was we didn't take it as a first class citizen. We didn't go sit with the outsourced team. We didn't put nearly enough training with them. And so that program, especially when you're seed funded, we were just throwing away money by not paying attention to it. And I don't know if you want to comment on that. I could go to the next mess up.
No, no, I've never had this experience in my entire life. Yeah,
Yeah, you probably see it
100%.
all the time. Yeah.
I think it's one of the worst. It's one of the worst things companies can do, because you're not only wasting your time and money, but you're wasting our time and money.
Yes.
Uh, for those listening, like, we also run a similar service. Um, I see this so many times where the executive or executive sponsor or a VP comes in and says, "We need this." And oftentimes it's the founder. And then, 2 weeks later, the founder's like, "I'm too busy," and pulling out of the calls. And you're like, well, based on the information, now you've outsourced and I'll articulate the problem that I think that what happened, or the diagnosis of what happened, and why. To parrot what you said, was you outsourced the go-to-market strategy to an outsourced firm that didn't understand your account, contact, customer pain,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah. Like,
and you can't outsource the strategy. You can absolutely outsource the execution. And I think an outsourced team, in a case like this, where you don't have all the fractional resources, you don't have a RevOps person, you don't have a sales development manager, you don't have all these people that know and have done it before, can be a great way to get a little leverage in the early days. But if you outsource the strategy, you're just wasting your money.
yep. And like looking back on it now, I haven't thought about it in a while. Like, I didn't sit on one meeting with the firm we had outsourced with. And that just shows you, like, hey, I try to outsource it internally to someone else, and then they try to outsource it again to
Mhm.
the firm. And it wasn't just even the strategy part. If I could have done it all over again, I've seen it work really well. As I mentioned before, I would have not only been on those meetings themselves, I would have been in the execution day to day if we actually want to make it successful. Because I would actually look at their results. They would generate meetings, and it was just like
Mhm.
they were just generating the wrong meetings because we weren't giving them the guidance, but the effectiveness was there. We just weren't pointing them in the right direction, and we had some other stuff to figure out in the business itself at that time. But still, it could have been way more successful in that first go around.
And I think this is the maybe we're dancing around the line between go to market, product market fit, and go to market fit, because arguably you had a product that you were selling at this time. You had customers, you had people coming to you, but this outbound team, that poor SDR who's sitting there going like, "I'm booking all these meetings," and your marketing team is like, "Well, they're garbage." That
Yeah.
poor SDR put so much time and effort into this engagement,
Yes.
and they're like, "These people don't have product market fit."
Yeah. Totally. Totally.
Which,
And yeah, there was definitely some of that because we weren't even pointing them in the right direction at all.
Mhm.
Like, we were getting Fortune 500 companies all the way to 50-person startups, and there was a huge range of those target clients. So, and then that second mess up was really then we try to bring it in house.
Mhm.
And so we bring it in house, and I would say the biggest mistake we made at that time is we didn't fully commit to bringing it in house. We basically did onesie, twosie hires, and so
Ah.
we still kind of kept it as a side hustle of the
Mhm.
marketing team. And those two things combined, where we essentially had two BDRs reporting someone who's never done this before and not making the
Mhm.
full commitment on it investment wise, then it failed again. It was like, wait, they're still not getting any meetings. Even at that time, we had a little bit better go-to-market fit. And the mistake we made at that time was like literally not getting a dedicated BDR leader or outbound leader to actually run this function for real and investing in it. Like you needed a team. I think when we hit a critical mass, about 6 people was when we actually had a legitimate organization that actually knew what they were doing. We got them the right tooling, had the right leader. We had this guy, Mikey Powell, who's been amazing, and he's still at the company. And he reworked the whole program on our third try. So our third try finally worked. And that was when everything went off to the races. And even people from that original team are some of our best AEs today.